Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of The Witch. So yeah, I'm going back a bit here. It's 2015, I guess, and lots of people have already seen this movie. So this is not gonna be a big spoiler alert here. I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about the whole movie from beginning to end. Um, so if you haven't seen it, like myself, who just recently saw it, I'm sorry, but I need to talk about what's happening at the end of this movie. So if I'm spoiling it for you, I'm sorry. But I realize, and I kind of feel that I'm one of the last people to see this movie. A lot of people have talked about this movie, and I for the good and the bad. But I finally got to see it, and I'm here to bring my thoughts on it. And of course, the cast and crew information is down below. And I'm going to read what IMDb has to say about this movie as far as the plot. Let's see. A family in 1630s New England is torn apart by forces of witchcraft, black magic, and possession. Alright, so going back in the day, and to start, I don't mind these movies. I like when we go back in time a bit, or even when we go to different places. Like maybe a Midsommar in a new place where you don't see a lot of horror movies. At least we don't. But this one's gonna go back in time, and a family is kind of on its own here, and there's a couple of young children, a older daughter, and a mother and a father, and they're basically on this farm alone, and they're trying desperately to make it work, and the father, of course, back in the day, he's taking pride and trying to make this work, and it's not really working out well, and I guess there's some events that led them to be separated from everybody else in the town there that's, I guess, nearby, so forth. But they're out on their own, and they're trying to make it, and the mom is, I don't know, maybe a little unstable, I don't know, maybe shocked just by having them out on their own there. And of course, weird stuff happens, and I guess the events start by going really wrong, and I guess this is really what throws the mom off is they had a young baby, and I guess the older sister takes the baby out into the forest or away from the group, and basically playing peekaboo there, and going at it with the baby there. And one of the times she does this and goes like this, and the baby's gone, just disappeared, and really has no explanation for it. And I guess we'll never play peekaboo again, and things just fall apart for the family at that point, as you would expect. They lose the baby, and that's tough. So again, just adds to I guess fuels the moms on being unstable, and the father is just trying desperately to make this work for them, and I guess they tell the kids, don't go out into the woods. Maybe they, nobody really knows what happened. Maybe they blame the sister a little bit. They think that maybe there is something out there in the woods, so they say, don't go past a certain point. And but the father tempts the fate, and he takes the boy out with him, and they're trying to hunt, they're trying to get food for the family, but in a way, the father's trying to teach his young boy how to survive, and how to be another man of the family. And I guess that's a little bit of a mistake, because kind of encourages the boy, gives him, the strength or the want to go back into the woods. And there comes another point a little later in the movie where he gets drawn out he decides to go out into the woods. And the older sister sees him going to do that, so she kind of goes with him. And we kind of get this theme that everything that happens, the movie is almost following this older sister. She always seems to be around, always involved whenever weird stuff is happening. So she ends up going with him out into the woods. And the little boy gets drawn to this witch. And she uses her ways to bring in, how you would bring in a young boy, try almost seducing way, and brings him in. And the sister, gets knocked out and whatever. And then the father, when the parents realize that they're gone, he's out there looking for them. They find the sister. And, of course, this just draws more panic into the mom. And it's weird because you think, you're never going to see this boy again. But then he comes back. But he's basically, just like in a trance. And they can't really snap him out of it. What's going on here. More weird things happen. Again, we're talking about a witch story here, so there's always mystery to it, and the back and forth between the family, wanting to believe in God, and God will protect them, and then of course the evilness that's happening here. So. Again, a lot of things draw back to this sister here, and watching the movie, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so is this solely the witch that's kind of doing this? Is there something on the farm that's doing this? Is it the sister? Is it the sister that is already possessed, already has it in her? Maybe that's why the baby disappeared in the beginning. Maybe she kind of let it happen. It's kind of a lot is left for you to guess. There is another kind of creepy scene where the older sister's there, and then there's, like I said, there's two young, really young kids, and one of them's a girl, and the older sister kind of like. She kind of makes it sound. The younger one kind of makes it sound like there's something out of there in the woods, a witch or something like that. And this older sister kind of like just goes for it and pretends like she is the witch, and she kind of like does a good job of creeping both the kids out. But then it kind of comes back at her, because when strange stuff happens, the kids are basically trying to rat her out and saying that she really is the witch, and she was demonstrating that by the river. And so forth, and so it kind of backfires on her, and then as the weird things are happening, there's blames all go around. The kids say it's the sister says it's the two kids, and so forth, and the mom is then starting to blame the father for the events that happened in the town and why they're not there anymore, and just. Everything is going wrong here, and even the animals start acting crazy. And then, for those that have seen it, there's a black, I guess, sheep or ram or something like that, and of course, that's another bad sign. You kind of see him early on in the movie. You don't think much of him, but then later in the movie, he comes and again, spoiler alert. Attacks the father and basically ends the father, and pretty kind of a crazy scene. You don't see that much. Almost like a normal creature, and then just goes crazy, and as opposed to possessing one of the kids or so forth, whatever. It's this animal, and the animal attacks the father, and that's the end of him. And I guess they did a pretty good job with me, because I kind of felt bad for the dad. When that happened, he was just trying to make it work, and it wasn't happening for him or the family. It just wasn't. And the forces of good, as much as they wanted it to happen for them, just wasn't. And then the mom completely snaps, and the daughter and the mom go at it, and the daughter kind of comes up on top in that battle. So now basically everybody is gone, and it's just the daughter. So at this point of the movie, when you're just seeing that, okay, the daughter's the one who survives, and you kind of have these thoughts, and like kind of almost play it off like if this ram or sheep or whatever is the source of evil here, and you're kind of thinking, okay, so the witches can get into things, it's into the sheep, okay, so, but is it really one witch? Here's, I guess, the movie is really good to this point. They make you feel for the family. They're there in the struggle. I mean, if you want to say maybe it's a little boring, I'm not gonna dismiss you if you said that. The witch is not heavily involved here. It's more of a, one of those outside forces looking in, and she's maybe the reason behind it, but you're not actively seeing her. She's not involved, and she's not hiding there in the forest, where you can see her doing things and doing spells and that kind of stupid stuff. You just, things just start happening, and there's the way things play out. So maybe if you got a little bored in between there, I would see it. You kind of need to feel a little bit something for this family, and fall into the hard times they're getting in there to really grasp it. But it's not a whole lot of blood and guts in it. Again, the father kind of gets slain by this creature, and so forth, and then the mom and the daughter kind of have a back and forth, and there's a little blood there, so it's not really a big blood and guts movie either. But you just kind of hang in there with and see what's going on here with this family. So, not total excitement here. You're just kind of going along for the ride, and then comes the end, and the sister. Then you kind of have to. I discussed this with 1-2 other people, and basically when other people talked about it, I hadn't seen the movie, so I don't really know. But it's kind of interesting to see when people, or if people figured out it was the sister the entire time, or just at the end that she kind of gives in. I guess I missed this complete conversation, but I guess I saw this movie just recently and not when everybody else did. But I guess I'd be kind of interested to see if people thought, hey, I knew it was the sister from the beginning, or it just happened to be at the end that she kind of just decides, hey, we can't beat this witch, just join her. But then, the sister, for those, don't really know, she walks out, she goes into the forest and finds where, I guess, all the witches. So you think that it's just one witch. No, there's multiple witches, and they're having a seance or some kind of their own witch party out there in the woods, and they're by a fireplace, and they're all naked and chanting and doing their thing there. And the daughter just goes up, sees it, and opposed to being scared or whatever, blah, blah, she joins in, she gets naked and goes for it, and then that's basically the end of the movie. And, so I guess I can kind of say I liked the movie. Maybe that ending was a little bit of a stretch for me. Like I said, if you said it was boring, a little bit, I can say that, I can agree there. Wasn't the most exciting movie, but I think overall it was a good movie. The acting was good enough. I'm not gonna say it was big on frights or anything like that, but I guess just that creepy elements and that mystery that you didn't really know what's going on there. Some people swear by this movie, really love it. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go that far, but it was definitely a good quality movie, and had a lot to like in it. Again, that ending maybe went tad far for me. I guess maybe if they had done more of the witch stuff earlier in the movie, maybe then you could have pulled that off a little bit better without too much complaint there. But that seemed to go a little too far from basically what was happening, because you could almost say what was happening before was nothing too extreme, and you could have almost blamed it on anything, witch or just circumstance or so forth. But that ending was a little far out there, and maybe they didn't have to go out there into that extreme. But besides that, I think I'm gonna give this one 3 pools of blood. I am not gonna jump up there and say this is the greatest movie, and certainly not say it was a terrible movie. For those who know me might have thought that I didn't like the movie, but no, I enjoyed the movie. It kept my attention. I wanted to know what was happening. I wanted to know why everybody liked this movie as well. But I didn't think it was the most amazing movie either. And again, they may have went a little too crazy there at the end. But regardless, I'm going to give that one 3 pools of blood. And I'm definitely, if anybody out there wants to revisit The Witch or their thoughts on it, definitely hit me in the comment section, because I definitely want to know what you thought, or if you knew it was the sister, or what was going to happen there. As far as that's concerned. And anyways, you'll also find cast and crew information down below. And also, if you're looking for more video reviews, please subscribe to this channel. And you can find some written reviews and my other video reviews as well at horosgoryreviews.blogspot.com. We'll have that down below, along with social media information as well. So that was The Witch, and I guess I'll catch you next time, horror fans.